What if every person was raised to know that the only place you can find your truth is by feeling into your own heart? There is no one truth. There is simply what is the truth for you. If this were so, and we were not all adopting the beliefs that we have through media or something else, the world would be a very different place. And figure out for ourselves, what is it we want, what is it we believe, and what passion do we have that we wish to explore and then express. And it does not need to be in alignment with anyone else or approved of by anything outside ourselves. It just needs to match our own authentic truth and who we came here to be.
Welcome, beautiful souls, to Becoming Awesome with Tracy J, channeling the Crones of all ages.
Hey everyone, we've discovered that about 65% of our viewers have not yet subscribed. So this is your invitation to do so. It'll mean that our videos will show up on your feed when you go to YouTube, and you will be assisting us in getting our message out to the world. So thank you so much. Welcome, I'm Tracy Jector. Thanks for being here. So one of the last channels I did, a group that called themselves the Crone of all ages came up, and they were talking about how that the whole concept of good and evil has really thrown us off path. And they made a statement that you cannot create out of opposition energy. And I noticed that both for myself and other people, as I shared this, there was kind of this reaction like, well, wait, what? Is that really true? Can we not do that? And so I thought we would invite them back today and ask them to give us more clarity about this and to help us understand how can we create without opposition. In other words, how can we create in alignment energy? So here we go. We are very happy you have asked us back to answer this question. This is making us very happy that you are thinking about these things differently and noticing in your body where the questions arise and where there feels like there is a stuckness against this concept. So we do believe that for humans, it is best to take concrete examples that are alive in your world today. So let us start with global warming. This is a huge issue, right? Lots of opposition energy with those that are absolutely convinced that this is a problem and that, in fact, the planet will die within 5 years if this is not corrected. And others at the other extreme who feel that this is all a hoax, trying to convince people to take certain actions, which will then lead to those who have control over all the resources having even more money and withholding those or charging even more for them to all of the rest that do not have the control of those resources. So let us say there is someone who is very passionate about helping others understand that their use of, let's say, the fossil fuel gas to run their cars is a big part of this problem. One action this person might take is with her own time and money to go and create handouts that she will then go around parking lots and put on anybody who is driving an SUV or a larger vehicle. And the gist of this would be to tell them that they are killing the planet and they should immediately stop and no longer drive this car. So you can feel how this would immediately, upon the person who owns this car finding this note and starting to read it, would create opposition. And in fact, the energy that she has written this is opposition energy. Now, a step up from that could be that it was merely her intention to educate people, right? So she might include a bunch of graphs and proofs for her position. And, again, some warnings. Now the person reading it would be like, what does she think? Does she not think I have not heard the news and that I haven't considered these things and I have looked for myself and I do not believe that going with an electric car is a better version right now than going with gasoline? And so they would also just have some anger and upsetness in them about this assumption that they are a mindless person who has not thought things through. Again, there is more opposition energy. Now, what if this person were instead to have started a bicycle club for people who bicycle to work? And she made sure that the bicycle club had all kinds of fun benefits where they would socialize, and maybe there would be a special breakfast for them as they arrived at work some days or other things. And so it was merely coming out of the joy of bicycling and opening up other people to the idea of bicycling, and perhaps involving the management of the company to also make some allowances for the kinds of clothing people might wear if they bicycle to work, or who knows what else. This then would all come out of being a stand for what you do want, right? A way to align to that which you see would be valuable. And an even higher level, someone could find people who were engineers, people who were good at fundraising through all sorts of different resources, and put together a collective of people who were determined to find a way to make a vehicle that did not use either the batteries needed for electric cars or the petrol fuels needed for the other kinds of vehicles. And so they would look for a way for it to perhaps run on steam, or something that when it would burn would just create a pure, non-polluting residue as it went. Now that, if they could, this group could accomplish that, and it would cost less than, and last longer than, and be in every way as efficient as the other car models, wouldn't everyone just naturally choose to drive of such a vehicle? And it would all have been done out of each of the people in the team aligning to what they wanted, rather than opposing something they did not want. Even the channel, Tracy, chose to buy an electric car. And then after she had already owned this car, there was much more that was revealed about how difficult these minerals were to get from the earth, how oftentimes child labor was being used, that there really weren't any good solutions for what would happen to these batteries once they needed to be disposed of, and on and on and on. Luckily, she is still happy with her car. She enjoys it. She has solar power on her roof, so for her, the electricity is being generated by the sun. And so overall, she is still happy. But let's look at, how did she even come to think she should buy an electric car? Again, when you look out into the media, there is always an invitation to believe a certain way and then to act a certain way in order to be a good person, right? And how could it possibly be that just because one human being is born into a family that are Democrats and tend to read and view all the things that Democrats watch and view, that they are so completely different from somebody who was born into a family that believes one should be a Republican and only views and reads what Republicans view and read, that somehow, even though these two groups share the same DNA, there is all this alignment that, yes, global change is a real problem. No, global change is a hoax. Okay? And in each case, the people there are doing what they believe is right to be a good person. So remember, we talked about this concept of good and evil, and fighting against what you don't want has been put into your consciousness for a long time. So let's take this completely a different way. What if every person was raised to know that the only place you can find your truth is by feeling into your own heart? There is no one truth. There is simply what is the truth for you. And so if we were raised, even from children, to know, well, you may not necessarily agree with us as your parents. We have found these truths to be the correct ones for us, but you are free to really look and explore and see what is true for me. What actions is it that I want to do? What passions do I hold, and what do I believe? If this were so, and we were not all adopting the beliefs that we have through media or something else, the world would be a very different place where we were each honoring each other in our choices, just as we felt free to use our own hearts as our compass and figure out for ourselves what is it we want, what is it we believe, and what passion do we have that we wish to explore and then express into the world. And it does not need to be in alignment with anyone else or approved of by anything outside ourselves. It just needs to match our own authentic truth and who we came here to be. So we will leave you to contemplate this for today, and perhaps we will be invited back to discuss this further. For now, imagine what life would be like if you had always been taught to just use your own heart as your guide and to allow others the same privilege. Okay, so hopefully you found that helpful. I definitely had more clarity about what they mean by this from those examples, and definitely could feel all the places in myself where I was in opposition energy because I had a belief that how I thought about things was right. And so have a great journey looking within to see where you have been in opposition energy. And did it, in fact, ever create something you wanted in your life? Or did it just leave you feeling kind of drained and tired and like there was way less success in using this manner of trying to convince other people about things? All right, many blessings.